have strategies and tools in your tool bank to really thrive, we got this next powerhouse panel for you, okay? So this panel is indie mindset, major results. So we're talking all things strategies, systems. We're going up. If you're excited about strategies and systems in your artistry, make some noise. We're going up, all right? And the moderators for this panel are two powerhouses. You saw one earlier, Nathan McCartney and Mr. Tim Simpson. Make some noise, y'all. Give energy.
We need to get Ivy back out here. She had great energy. Ivy Rivera. Can we bring out LaRussell? Give it up.
LaRussell.
Talk to my man nice. He came out with the socks on. That's real comfort.
This on? Yeah! Come on.
Is this your first time in Charlotte, by the way?
This is my first time in Charlotte.
Got you out here?
Yeah.
Give it up for that.
Right?
All right, for those of y'all who don't know who LaRussell is, he was on Sway in the Morning, Earn Your Leisure, The Breakfast Club, Social Proof, any major podcast you ever heard of, he's been interviewed on there. He's from the West Coast, very talented artist. So he's, in my opinion, he's one of the biggest independent artists, we'll say, since Wiz Khalifa. So he joins a fraternity of a lot of great independent artists from Master P, Jay-Z, Young Dolph. So, LaRussell, y'all.
About in just having this conversation was most artists, you go to their page and they're pushing people to a streaming service to listen to their music. You're pushing people to different products that you're creating so you can have a direct relationship with your fan base. Tell us a little bit about your mentality.
I just be trying to be human. Yeah, it's not really. I let people go wherever they want to go. I just put the product out there, and if you want to go listen on Spotify, you want to go to Even, you want to go to Tidal, you want to go to YouTube, that's up to your discretion. I just always give people the ability to come to me first.
Yeah, and how important is it for you to have that direct relationship with your fans?
Extremely, because it's not fans. Like, we are human, and these are the people who buy the product and consume the music and show up to shows and buy tickets. So to me, it's a lot more than data. Like, when I walk out, some people like Bay Area, and it's different. Like, they know, and you can only have that community if you cultivate, directly. You don't get to do that through being just someone who puts a song up and people stream it.
Yeah. And how about you, Ivy? You've been building brands for a long time, and you're a brand in yourself. How do you think about engaging with humans or your fans or whatever as you build your own legacy?
Engagement is very important. There is no real science to it. I think that what always has set me apart is that I talk to you like I have known you all my life. Like I'm filling you in on my tea, my personal stories. My mama did this and my daddy did that. And it gives you an opportunity to know me outside of the fluff you see on the gram, right? The Power 105 and the Apple Music and all that. Like that's a little intimidating. I'm not defined by that. I am who I am and they came to me, right? So what I do with these brands is I make them a part of my life, right? And as you, the follower and the consumer and the friend and the human are following my journey, naturally you will buy into those products because you believe in what I do, right? And what I use to enhance whatever I destined to pursue. So I think it's just about not having any rules per se when it comes to engagement and just engage. Is really that simple.
Just being very intentional about what you do and having a sense of authenticity. I was very fortunate enough to work with Ryan Leslie and Nipsey Hussle on a lot of the stuff that they did, and they were very intentional as well. And I see that with you, LaRussell, just being really thought out about the things that you're doing. And also, what I think is interesting is just your pricing in this pay what you want model. What's the inspiration behind that?
Nip. Nip invented Proud to Pay, and I was on a bike ride one day, and I was like, how can I do something like that as innovative, but for the people who support me? And I didn't want to do like $100 album or anything, but I wanted to allow people to support me at whatever means works for them. And that's how we came up with our version of Proud to Pay, and eventually that elevated to offer base, because I started crafting more intimate, direct experiences, and I couldn't just accept $1 for it, but I also didn't want to put a price on it because I felt like it was invaluable. It was a priceless experience. So we created the offer-based model, and that's how we got to this point now. Our merchandise, our shows, just about everything we do is offer-based.
And at this point, because you're doing it like that and you're building such a tight-knit community, do you start to recognize some of the same faces as you do different shows and stuff like that?
Yeah, for certain. It's really dope to have a recurring fan base because I'm able to stay home because of it. A lot of my shows, 50% is people who came to the last one and the one previous, and then 50% is new people. And that's how you want with any business. If you have a restaurant, you have loyal customers, and that's the goal, to build connections to where someone wants to come back and do more business with you.
Absolutely, and that was something Nip always pontificated on as well from our conversations, which I always thought was just so insightful. When he put up the $100 album and then later the $1,000 album, when people would purchase, he'd put up a screenshot on Instagram shouting them out. And that acknowledgement to his fans let him know that he cared about them. So they become your supporters and your word of mouth to bring in more people. So that's great. Talk to us a little bit about this 168 hours and you getting on the road. What's going on there?
Yeah, man. We were chilling the other day, and I had this idea because we be moving around, and I really like documentaries and like just shows people being human. And I feel like right now on TV and social media, we don't have a lot of media that's like even the reality shit is scripted. But I live life very unscripted and very human, so we're coming up with a series where I'm going to spend a week in different cities, and while I'm there, I'm going to work with local creatives and eat at local restaurants and just kind of build within that community, and I'm bringing my backyard residency to these different cities. So 168 hours on road is coming soon.
Very cool. Very
That's
cool.
dope. That's dope. So, LaRussell, there's a video online where you kind of explain how you rejected like a record deal. Do you mind talking about that?
I've rejected a lot. What in particular?
Anyone you care to speak of for the audience.
Yeah, I mean, every deal I've rejected was either based on the humans behind the deal or the content of the deal just wasn't fitting for what I was trying to build. And I used to take it really personal because I thought people were playing with me, but it wasn't even that. Like, everybody can't see what you're building. and everybody isn't aware, and they're going to approach you based on what they think it is. So, I went through a lot of deals that wasn't fitting, but I also found a lot of partners that did get it and allowed me to remain free and just go and build.
I like that. So can you speak to the audience about knowing your worth? Because you seem to be one of those artists that, like you said, if the math ain't adding up, it just ain't going to make sense. So knowing your worth.
I don't really know my worth. I just know what I'm not worth. That's as best as I could put it. I know that I'm worth more than a penny for what I provide, but I don't really know what I'm worth. And that's why doing deals is I always come in open, right? I don't have like finite principles of things that have to exist in me for a deal because I don't know what that is. I'm not fully sure of that value and what I bring. I don't know who in this room life I've changed, right? You can't really quantify that. But I know there's shit that I'm not worth and I'm not accepting.
I like that.
How about you, Ivy? You work with a lot of brands. How do you evaluate what's the right opportunity and then how it makes sense incentive-wise for yourself?
See, it's different because, I'm not offered what LaRussell is offered, right? It's very case by case, and I have always had this mentality of, like, the bigger picture. Like, I look at the opportunity more than the cost. Although the price is the price, I think that comes with working your way up to a point you don't have to explain why it costs this much to have me a part of whatever you have going on. So, as you're building yourself as an artist, as an influencer, or as whatever you desire to be, and brands want to be a part of you and they offer you X amount for this much, there's always room for negotiation. There is never an opportunity that comes to your door where you can't say, I'll do this for this, or I won't do this, but I will do this. It's always to your discretion. The ball is always in your court, and a lot of people feel like they lose out on opportunities because it's just not fitting. And I've turned down things that I felt like were big, but I felt like they were also playing in my face, So it's just like knowing your worth and having to take those risks to turn down things that once upon a time you dreamt of even being considered. That's the risk that it takes to know your worth and really get to that price point. Because the more that you say yes to those price points, you'll never get to that one.
Yep.
Great insights. Double click.
Man, every time you compromise and you accept something that you didn't really want, you telling the universe to give you more of it. So it's like every single time you compromise and accept one little thing that's like, I don't really want to do this, you're gonna start getting more of it. So it's important to stand your ground.
Stand on business.
Double clicking on that about having like a bigger picture and a vision for what you want to achieve. You were just talking, I think, recently on social media about like the difference between things coming together and things falling apart. And at some points, they might feel like the same thing. Expound about your vision of where you want to be. Do you think about it in a short-term basis, a long-term? Like, do you have a very clear vision for who you want to be as a human?
As a human, yeah, I have a very clear, I kind of operate in that space daily. And constantly improving. But in terms of where I want to be in totality, I don't have a full scope because I'm a digger. I just get in there and start moving dirt around, and eventually I put some seeds here, and it's like, oh, we got apple trees, and you dig a hole big enough to put a pool, and I just kind of go with the flow. I'm really malleable with my life and where I'm going. I feel like everything I do with an intention to do well, and whatever comes from that, I'm cool with.
Do you have a way that you measure success for yourself?
How I feel. I think that's the ultimate measure of success. If you could sleep, if you feel good about where you are, about what you did, if you could smile genuinely, I think those are all monikers of success for me, because everything else is kind of like, external. You could have a whole lot of everything else and a whole lot of internally. You feel me? So those my measures of success. It's like, am I enjoying what I'm doing? Do I love what I'm doing? Is the people around me loving what they doing? Are we cultivating something that can grow?
I want to add on to that. I'm sorry. But you really hit it on the head. And I remember I equated success differently. Like, I was like, if I have this much in my bank account, or I make this much this year, then I'll be happy. I'll feel successful. But I've reached those benchmarks, and I'm like, I want more. This is not it, you know? So what you think could be successful is not really that, because when you meet that point, you're gonna want more. You're always gonna want more. So how you feel about where you are and what you're doing is really the key to success.
Yeah, and I think that's really interesting feedback because, you know, in a world where everyone lives on their phone and sees what everyone else is doing and the things they share are the best moments of their life, not the struggle, not the pain and the mundane of working hard and, you know, just putting in that effort. How do you keep yourself aligned with that focus to say, hey, you know what, I'm running my own race?
Man, you really have to not look left and not look right. Like, your journey is very specific for you. And I get caught up, man, me and T was just having a conversation the other day because I've gotten really big independently, and sometimes I still feel like I'm missing something. But I only feel like I'm missing something in comparison. Whenever I'm not looking left or right, I'm not missing shit, you know, but as soon as I start looking at what somebody else's thing looks like, that's when I feel like I have a void. And you really have to run your own race because everybody's journey is made specifically for them, you know, like if you're cows eat different, man, flies eat shit, bees eat honey, you feel me? So it's like, it's just two different things, and you cannot compare that unless you want to be a fly. And if you a bee trying to be a fly, you're doing a disservice to all the bees.
I also want to talk about like something really important because like you are speaking, that's number one. But I suffered, and I'm sure a lot of people probably have this issue with imposter syndrome. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically where people see you and speak of you in a way that you do not see yourself. And it took me a long time for me to match my actual greatness. And I think that is what really put me in my bag today, where it's like I'm running my own race. Because not that I was looking left and right, I was punishing myself for not doing the things I felt were necessary to get to that next level, right? Like I see myself mogul vibes, and I want to, you know, just wake up one day and just go on my yacht and go down the river to have lunch with my friend, you know, and just talk about my day, you know. But what are the things that I'm doing that will allow me to get to that point in my life, right? You wake up and you're like, I'm tired today, I just want to stay in bed, or I don't want to go to the gym, or I don't want to invest in myself. Any which way, you're taking another day away from that dream life. And I think that it also played a part with how I thought about myself. I didn't think that it was that important to tap in to my real greatness. You know, Ivy, you're so amazing, you're so impactful. And I'm like, really? You know, because I just came here out of nowhere, you know, like life happened very abruptly for me. And it took a long time for me to accept the fact that I was here and I was doing this and I meant something and I shifted shit for real. So I say all of that to say that, like, baby steps, but make sure you take a step, you know, because we really think we got time and we don't. You're going to look at the last year that went by and you didn't accomplish one goal that was on your list. All those resolutions that you had is 2024. We in January right now, and I'm sure y'all got like 10 things on y'all list. Did you start at least one of them? You know, hold yourself accountable to those things.
And how do you guys do that, both of you? Because you both have a variety of things going on, multiple products, multiple kind of like, I would say, I don't want to call them jobs, but different things that you're heavily involved in. How do you have that balance? Do you have a team? Is it mostly on yourself? Like, what do you lean into?
Yeah, I have a great team, and I don't really want nothing I'm not willing to go work for. So I'm just gonna go get it. If my eyes and my heart is set on it, I'm going to go get it. And I got great people around me that's, they clear the path for me to go.
I also feel like, just being organized with your time is a real key. Like, I don't hold myself to, like, by March, you gotta have this done, because if you don't have it done by March, you're gonna kill yourself. Well, not to be exaggerative, but have a brief timeline and a skeleton of the things that you really feel you can knock out easiest, and be realistic with your goals too. Like, I know I'm not gonna get a yacht this year. That doesn't mean I'm not gonna get a yacht at all. What am I doing this year that will bring me closer to my yacht dreams? And when you really break down the specifics of your goals, make sure that it matches to each month that goes by. What do you accomplish this month, this month, this month? There's so many cultural events happening. You want to stay on top of and ahead of what is coming up. I'm already in March today. I'm thinking of the Grammys that's happening in February. I'm thinking about the Golden Globes. I'm thinking about All-Star Weekend. I'm thinking about all these things right now because it's gonna come too fast. You're not even gonna be prepared to take advantage of the opportunity. And that's just me coming from like a lifestyle perspective. And I'm sure for LaRussell, you wanna be prepared to show up at these events and in these cultural events too, because it's important to the bigger picture of who you are and where you wanna be.
Yeah. Tim?
No. Both of y'all seem very conscious, very spiritual, very self-educated. So most of the top artists that would just say we all love, from Tupac to Lauryn Hill, they were really big in self-education. So Henry Ford has a quote. He said, "A formal education will help you earn a living. Self-education will help you earn a fortune." So my question to y'all two are, what books do y'all read? What speakers do y'all listen to as far as personal development?
Man, I read every book that calls my name, really. We go to Barnes and Nobles every so often, and I just, whatever jumps out at me. When I'm online and I see people post things, I go immediately go copy it. I read a lot of books from like Indian mystics, like a lot of Middle Eastern, just ideology, because it's really, really human. Like, and that be the basis of all of this. Like, everything kind of come to you when you working in that spirit and you being a good person. More things come your way. And man, before I even started in the music industry, I was reading a lot of music business books, whatever I'm currently working on and I'm in, but most importantly, like, I get hands-on experience. I go do it, and I learn everything that I really need to learn from being in the field.
I want to put y'all on to 3 books that have gradually changed my perspective and just how I handle my daily life. Write it down. The 5 a.m. Club, Atomic Habits, and A Return to Love. I'm currently reading The 5 a.m. Club, and it's whipping my ass. In the sense of, this story has so many gems just about your approach to life and being responsible for how beautiful it can be. Atomic Habits really expands on the littlest thing you can do each day to improve staggering results in your life, right? Whether it's waking up 2 hours earlier or having a different type of breakfast, anything that involves self-improvement, just do it. One step, it don't have to be gradual, like, oh my God, I'm vegan now, but maybe you wanna add some extra vegetables to your meal, maybe you wanna wake up at 6 a.m. versus 11 a.m. because you already wasted half your day, those little things. And then A Return to Love really spoke to just like the healing phase of like knowing yourself and knowing that love has no real boundaries. It's all about how you show up and the boundaries that you create with the people that you allow in your life. And I think that that is very important when you move in business because you have to be so sure of yourself. You can't come into a meeting asking for them to believe in you and you don't even believe in yourself. You are the product. You know what I'm saying? So those books really got me into shape and gave me like priceless perspective.
Thank you.
Speaking of,
Look at Ross,
yeah,
you look so
I'm
impressed.
trying to, yeah. Speaking of, you are the product. LaRussell, it looks like a lot of people are buying into you as a brand. You guys are offering a variety of services, you and your team, whether it's business advice to invest in LaRussell or your book. Like, what has that response been from the people who are, getting up on your music and who you are and what you stand for?
It's been incredible, man. I'm wowed every day. We just started doing ticketed rehearsals. Like I've been finding just new ways to be able to do what I love to do, but without necessarily being performative because I'm hyperhuman. Like I just like to sit and chill and I love to rap and do my songs, but I like to just do it in a way that's fitting to me. And I've been able to build an audience that really supports whatever I choose to do and me being myself because I've showed up very authentically. So man, I'm grateful to be able to cultivate that kind of base.
Yeah, and we had Boogus speaking earlier and he talked a little bit about authenticity as well. What drew you guys to have a working relationship?
Me and Boogus?
Yeah, or do it everyday music or nothing.
What's the question? Hold on.
No, how'd you guys get connected? What drew you together?
Oh, Boogus. I got connected to Boogus through Russ. And Russ found me on social media about 2 years back and tapped in to help me out on my journey before anybody was really trying to help propel me. And we just kind of cultivated and grew from there.
Very cool. Ivy, for you, have you found like your own tribe? Do you have a team as well? People that help you with the things you're working on?
I wouldn't say I have a team. I have people that hold me accountable. I am a one-man band, and I think it's just easier for me to navigate that because I don't believe in having people around if they're not really moving the needle, you know? And a lot of the things that need to be done, only I can do. So at the end of the day, like if I need someone around, I know I can count on my tribe to facilitate or negotiate certain things on my behalf or offer some type of perspective that I may not have when it comes to landing business opportunities and endeavors. They are better at having those conversations, but that also came with time, right? And I also had to teach myself how to negotiate and have these conversations to, retrieve brand opportunities and also create them for myself.
And just kind of digging into that a little bit, like, have there been any deals that either of you have ever done where you're like, you know what, I learned a lesson in this. This wasn't for me, but I had to go through doing something I probably shouldn't have to figure it out.
Yeah. Man, I had to really learn being a black artist, when you go into deals, sometimes with brands, you have to really understand if they want LaRussell or if they want a black rapper. Because those are two different things. And the way you do the business and how they treat you and what they expect of you, without those distinguished, is different. And I was in a brand situation where it was just like, they didn't want me to be me. They just kind of wanted a black face in front of the business to represent it, and I just wasn't able to do that. But I didn't do my full due diligence prior to do everything to understand that, but I got to learn from it. So going forward, I don't have to do those situations no more. I don't work with anyone that doesn't want to work with LaRussell.
I want to tell a story of kind of the opposite experience, because I haven't really experienced something like that where it's like, damn, I shouldn't have done this. But coming up, knowing that I wanted to work with brands, I would over deliver. If Foot Locker sent me a pair of sneakers, you were getting a photo shoot out of that. That wasn't even the ask you know, because they're usually just like, yo, you know, you could just post this on your story. But no, I was having a full creative rollout with this sneaker because that in turn opened the door for Air Max Day campaign to come on and Adidas to reach out to me to do this and other streetwear brands to be like, this is what you're doing for that brand. They don't even know the situation that happened between us, but they see what I can deliver and execute. So that is to teach y'all on your way to getting big brand opportunities, over-deliver, over-deliver, over-deliver.
It's like when you at a restaurant and you order and they come out and there be hella food on that plate and you like, man, this is more than I expected. It's always a good time. You always gotta over-deliver.
That was a good one. So how many people read the book Think and Grow Rich? Anybody? So that same book has created more millionaires and billionaires than any other book. One of the things Ivy mentioned was going the extra mile. So Napoleon Hill talks a lot about going the extra mile. So my question for both of y'all is, since this is It's Your Time conference, can you talk about a moment where you seized the moment, seized the opportunity? And it could have been early, particularly early on, since we got new artists and aspiring artists, like a moment where you seize the moment. It's your time. It's your time moment.
This is 2017, I'm gonna guess. I was invited to a Q&A for Charlemagne's first book, Black Privilege. I have yet to meet the man. He has been on my list of like people that I want to meet. I feel like I could learn from him. I wanted him to be my mentor. I had a screenshot in my phone. This is like before I was really in the industry. You know, like when you get a comment back from someone that you really like fuck with, like say LaRussell comments back to something that you said, you're like, oh my God, that was me. So like 2015, I asked him on Twitter to be my mentor and he responded, said, sure. I lost my mind. I followed up to no avail. Years later, this is my opportunity. I planned it all in my head. My heart is racing as I'm walking to this venue because I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pull his card. The Q&A is happening. They're talking about his book. It's with Crystal. And they turn the Q&A to the audience, and I'm online. I'm ready with my question. There's a gentleman before me who asked Charlemagne to be his mentor, and I got so mad. I was like, you stole my moment. And I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna just wait for Charlemagne's response and use that as ammo to ask what I really wanted to ask. So by the time it was my turn, you know, basically I was just saying how you told me you were open to being my mentor, and it's my first time meeting you. And I tweeted this to you in 2015. And he's just like mind blown. I'm mind blown. I can't believe I'm doing this. And he's just like, what's your name? I'm like, my name is Ivy Rivera. He's like, I will never forget it. I leave the stage and his manager comes up to me and she was like, your boldness is something that I respect. Take my contact. And I got her contact. On my way out, I see Charlemagne, I finally shake his hand. He goes, what do you do? And this is the moment where you either secure or fumble the bag. So, what do you do? I have my own radio show. I'm working at E1 as a coordinator. I'm woo-to-woo-to-woo. I'm hungry. I want opportunity. I just want insight from people who are really living in their greatness. I got his number. I followed up. He told me a key, and I want to share it with y'all. When it has something to do with your dreams, you got to be DJ Khaled annoying. That means do not have too much pride to follow up, even if they don't respond to you. Follow up. I use holidays as my excuse. Happy Easter, Merry Christmas, Happy Thanksgiving. Hello, I'm here. I'm gonna be on top of mind for when something comes up. He's like, who can I think of that's hungry? Me, you know, because I'm hitting you up relentlessly, no care, because I'm not gonna waste this contact in my phone. It took him 6 months to reach out to me. literally top of January 20, whatever year that was later. He goes, peace, what you doing tomorrow? Literally out the clear blue sky. I was like, peace, what am I doing tomorrow? He goes, come to Brilliant Idiots. And that was the beginning of everything. That was the beginning of everything.
I've had a multitude of moments. I like to think I seize every one that I'm on, but man, when I was first starting, I used to go through like every vlog and platform from the Geniuses to Vivos, and I used to find every writer and every creative that has something to do with it and message them and DM them and send my like thousands. Like, I get so many messages today from people 3 years ago, like, I can't believe I missed this. And it's like, yep, you did, you know. But thousands. And I ended up hitting this one guy, his name was Micah, and he worked for Vivo. And Vivo was trying to launch a live performance series called Vivo Control. They were just starting. And he was like, man, I love your music. If you come out here, I can't pay you anything, but I could give you these sessions because I want to pitch it to Vivo. And I had just quit my job, and I was like, it was hurting. And I was like, I'm going to go. And I was explaining to my poppins, and he like, man, you sure? And I'm like, I'm finna go. And we end up going, and Vivo they approved that whole series. They still do them to this day. You see every major artist on that platform. I was the pilot for that. And I got to walk away with that content, but most importantly, I walked away with, like, that was the trip where I was like, I could do this shit at home. I came back home, and we was just fired up. And from that point on, I've been just on go.
Big deal. Thank you.
Yeah, it's funny. Last night we were having a conversation, a few folks, and someone was getting on the phone and telling their friends, like, yo, you better get on your bike and get down here tomorrow. You got to put yourself in the room. And, you know, it's just always refreshing to hear people talk about taking the initiative, being patient if it doesn't work out on your schedule, but being persistent about your dreams. So, you know, shout out to everyone who came today to pursue whatever your dreams are. Why don't we open it up to some questions from the audience?
What's up, dog?
You know what I'm saying? Pulled up on him, and he showed me love, so I appreciate that.
Tell him. Troya got like a crazy story.
For sure. So to make it quick, Swim, my producer, sent LaRussell some beats. They did a song, LaRussell and Tieta. They never put it out. He hit him. He finally put it out. So we like, let's go, and hopefully he let me get on stage. You know what I'm saying? So I go down there because they catch COVID. So it's like, am I gonna go by myself? LaRussell don't know me. You know what I'm saying? So I ended up going anyway. Get down there, y'all. Missed the show. But it's the best thing that ever happened to me. You know what I'm saying? Missed the show. I'm like, what I'm gonna do? Like, I done came all the way here. It's a dummy mission. You know what I'm saying? So I got on Instagram and I posted something like, yo, I done came from Raleigh to freaking San Francisco. LaRussell gotta meet me. You know what I'm saying? So tag LaRussell. Everybody tagging him. He hit me in the DM. Real stand-up guy, bro. I appreciate you. Like, hey, pull up on me tomorrow. So all night, I'm sweating, I'm pacing. I'm like, shit, LaRussell gonna get this performance whether he know it or not. So he invite me to the crib as promised. You know what I'm saying? I come over, and I'm like, yo, you wanna hear some music? And they looking apprehensive as hell. Like, his whole team kind of like, not really. But then they let me play it. So I play the music. He like, yo, you got them instrumentals right now? I'm like, yeah, but I didn't. So I hit my boys like, hey, send me this. And he like instrumentals, no lyrics. So artists, no lyrics on your shit. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you want to impress my man. So I hit them up like, take the lyrics out. Let's do it. I went in there, killed 3 Good Company sessions. So shout out to Good Company. Put me on the platform. So I got 3 tracks with LaRussell and Good Company. So I appreciate that. And then he told me, that's why you got to follow up. Like she said, he was like, yo, you should come to we gonna be in Charlotte. And I'm like, I'll be there, bet. He was like, yo, you should come to the show, come back. I ain't had no money, y'all. We still, shout out to Klarna, 4 Easy Payments, got a flight. You know what I'm saying? 4 Easy Payments got a flight, and we came out to the Pergola. He let me rock on the set, so he definitely did something on his. So I say, thank you, bro. You changed my life, you know what I'm saying? So I'm still here. But my question is, because y'all give a lot of free game, and I'm trying to get better with the social media. When you are running an ad, right? Are you targeting states or are you hitting cities in the states? Like, how detailed are you when you're targeting those ads?
So it depends on what I'm trying to accomplish. So this morning, on my way to North Carolina, I had did an announcement, and I wanted to make sure people out here seen it. So I targeted Charlotte specifically in that ad, and I hit it hard just for one day. I ran the maximum amount so it could spread. But that's me that's for a show or something I need people to show up to. If it's just music, I don't target any specific city. I just want anyone who's open and within that network to be able to receive it. So I just leave that audience broad and open. But if I'm doing it for a specific show, like I'll target the city that I'm coming to, the cities that are like 30 miles within that radius, and I'll also target interests that are interests to me. So people who are music lovers, people who like concerts, people who like basketball games, like I enter all of those interests and then I run it there. So it just depends on what the goal is with the ad. That was a great question. Those are the ones that you need.
My name is Young Blacks. I'm from Houston, Texas. LaRussell, I'm a big fan, bro. So before I even get into my question, let me know that about 3 years ago, man, I came home from damn near 10 years of incarceration, right? And I was about to give up on music, man. Like I was stuck at the house on a GPS monitor. I couldn't go nowhere. I didn't have I had to buy me some Audio Technica equipment, you know what I mean, record music at the house. I didn't know nothing about Instagram, ads, nothing, bro. When I went down, there wasn't none of that. So I came home to a whole new world. I came across your platform, started hearing your story about how you quit your job, took your 401k out, invested into your career, how your family was involved with you, and it really inspired me to continue in my music journey, right? So I've only been home 3 years, but I've only been free to roam around and do my thing for like a year and a half. So now I'm here, so I only say that to say this, like any artist that's out here, man, that's feeling uninspired, unmotivated, sometimes you want to give up, like let this man be a true inspiration to you making all the sacrifices that you got to do to chase your dreams, you know what I mean? So I just want to say that I don't have no questions for y'all. Every single one of the panelists today, man, thank y'all for coming out here. But LaRussell, like, not to disregard anybody else, but you the reason why I came out here, bro, like, for real. And it's an honor to see you, man, so thank you for coming out here.
Come on.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Granddaddy Low, and I have a personal question for you, LaRussell. So, you said you turned down a lot of opportunities that was not favorable for you, right? So, how does it feel knowing good and well you took yourself out to a different side of the country or a new city, a new state, right? And you have millions on the table, right? And you like, man, all I gotta do is sign. This shit could be life-changing, right? How does it feel when you say, you know what, I done put in too much work, I'm not selling my soul, they don't want LaRussell, they want a black face. How does it feel turning it down, knowing good and well you gotta take your ass all the way back home, and you just left millions on the table? Like, how does that feel coming from basically out the mud?
It's empowering. I think anytime you choose to leave a table when you starving because they not treating you well in that restaurant, it's empowering, right? Because some people would just accept the treatment just so they could eat. And I just wasn't willing to do that. I'd rather starve. So it's very empowering. I mean, you also have that other side where you do got to sit with that mental load of turning down something that could have been life-changing. But I always know it's something out there for me, right? And everything that's for me is going to come to me. So you just got to really stand in your power sometimes. And like I say, every time you turn down something that's not for you, the universe going to bring you something else that is. It's going to give you more options. But as soon as you take it, that's the options you're going to keep on getting. And I kind of live with that mantra. I know that if it was for me, I would have had it.
anything? Yep, yep. Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Anything worth having gonna be worth the tussle.
Huh.
With you, I'm in good company, LaRussell. Now talk about the tussle. Talk about what you're doing, what you're saying to yourself when you tussle and having internal battles, right? To keep it going, because I think persistence and fortitude is what we've heard echoed on all of these panels. But what are you all saying to yourself? Because on the other side of success, there's a tussle. So talk about that. And I'm Tiffany D, by the way. Thank you.
Man, I be saying a lot, positive and negative. Some days it's not always positive affirmation. Some days I'm seeing the latter of it, and on those days I'm happy I got people around me that pour into me and tell me, you know, how big my light is. And on the days that I do have it, I'm pouring in those affirmations too. You know, I go back and I look at what I've done and where I come from, and I kind of stand in that light as well. But man, you just got to remember that it's a full process. And along this journey, it's speed bumps and it's hurdles and there's a whole bunch of shit you got to go through, and you just have to keep going. Like the only people who don't make it is the people who stop going. I think she was asking you too.
I thought that was for you.
No, she said y'all.
Oh, my bad. That's why he looked at me. I was like, what? I think it's just when your purpose is bigger than the moment, nothing else matters. The struggle is never gonna stop. More money, more problems, you know? I think it's just breaking through every challenge that comes your way, you know, whether it's with yourself or with the circumstances of everything around you. It's never impossible to get out of situations. How many times we've said to ourselves, this is crazy, how am I gonna get out of it? And did, you know? It's just repeating that cycle of just like real perseverance and knowing that there's another side to it.
We have a question over here.
Hello, my name is Young Demand, and I have a question for.
Come on.
I have a question for LaRussell.
LaRussell. But I'm gonna give you the pass.
When you first had shows, were you scared or afraid or nervous?
No, because I practiced. I was prepared. I didn't have false confidence that was just like, I think I'm gonna do it. I knew I could do it, so I didn't really have to be nervous about it because I stayed in the gym and I shot 10,000 shots before I went up on that stage. And if you do that work, if you change tires your whole life, you're never concerned when a car pulls up and needs its tire changed, you feel me? So just do the work. But when you skip that work, that's when you got to deal with all the ill feelings and you don't know if you could do it because you don't know if you could do it. You didn't do the work it takes for you to have that security. But as long as you go do the work, you got it. You rap? Oh, I'm finna bring you up later. You better be ready. You been practicing? Oh. Well, you about to get a good life lesson today. I'm bringing you up.
Come on, Young Demand.
What's good? Number one, thank y'all for pulling up because I know between all the panelists, the schedules are ridiculous. So thank y'all for taking the time. My name is Century. This question is for you, LaRussell and Ivy. Just hearing y'all stories, I could see both of y'all are very headstrong people. And when y'all, like how you said it earlier, when you're chasing your dream, you got to be relentless about it. So my question for y'all is, was there a time where you felt like y'all were probably doing too much or the people that you had around you were saying like maybe you should pull back a little bit so you don't make a mistake, because you got the tunnel vision in a sense.
You wanna go?
I've never really felt like I was doing too much, only like I wasn't doing enough. I don't think there's a such thing as doing too much when it comes to going after what you want. Like, you got to go get it, and you got to be relentless, and that take a lot. So, yeah, I don't really, there was a time my dad wanted me to post for 30 days straight on social media. And at that time, it felt foreign. I was like, man, people going to get tired of me. Like, I was convinced that an app made for posting I wasn't supposed to post on, And that was probably the only time where I was like, I don't know, that might be too much. And we did it, and I ain't stopped doing it since. So I don't think there's a such thing as doing too much if you're going after what you want. Like, it's always some more you could do.
And also to piggyback on that, because I know that a part of your question was about the people. Where are you? I'm trying to look at you. Boom. Part of the question that you asked is about the people that surround you. Everybody should speak to your greatness. And if they don't pour into you, if they don't encourage you, if they don't motivate you, if they don't challenge you, if they don't inspire you, and all of those synonyms, why are they here? What purpose do they serve?
And speaking to your greatness isn't always pretty. Like, sometimes that come in input and feedback that you do not want to hear from a nigga. But them be the ones who really your homies and your dogs. Like, it's not always a positive comment. Sometimes you need to be adjusted, and you need to hear what you're doing wrong and how it's looking. So, when she say speak to your greatness, that's not just the positive aspects. Sometimes you need people to tell you the negative aspects too.
Absolutely. It's all about growth. And also, like, I have been met with doubt, like my own family saw me on the come up and was like, I don't know if this is going to work out for you, Ivy. Maybe you should consider something else that probably has like a pension or, the 401k. Because, parents and family, they think about security. They don't think about, really going after your dreams, right? We're the generational breakers up in here. Like I'm doing something that is unconventional, that is disruptive to my family line. I'm really just starting a new habit here. And I think that when I got met with that doubt, it could have broke me, because I'm like, my own family can't see what I see. And when it happened, they are now my biggest fans. And not because of what is attached to me, but because I didn't listen to them. They're like, wow, thank God you didn't listen to me. Right. And I'm like, yeah, thank God I didn't listen to you. Now beat it now.
We got time for one more.
Make it good, make it count. I know that's right.
Come on.
During this whole day is you're not gonna see like the journey that a lot of artists or executives, CEO, business people went through to get to where they are. All you're gonna see is where they are now and probably where they're going years later. My main question I just want to know, and this is for anybody up here, what was a defining moment for you through all the struggles, through all the doubts? Because one thing you also mentioned, LaRussell, was in short, comparison was like a big killer of confidence, but what was it that you had to finally realize to get you to be where you want to be for everyone, like I mentioned, and that lit the spark for you to, set a trail and blaze it?
Man, realizing who you are. Sometimes you're a butterfly, but you want to be a beetle. And you acting like a beetle, and you doing You're doing all these things that butterflies don't do because you just refuse to embrace the fact that you're a butterfly, and you got to come out of that cocoon, you know. And for me, it was just really standing in who I am and allowing that to be enough, feeling like that's enough for people to want to make an offer to come see me, and that people are going to show up to see me as me with my Crocs on and whatever, you know. And you really got to find out who you are and stand really firmly in that and believe that that's more than enough for you to get to where you want to get to.
A defining moment for me kind of trails back to my talk about imposter syndrome. I was working at a record label. It was an independent record label called E1, formerly Koch, and now there's something else. I started there. It was my first record label job. And I started off as an intern. I worked my way up to product management. And I was also, obviously, very talented in other fields. So I was met with a lot of, you gotta choose one. You can't be doing LaRussell's campaign rollout and then being on Brilliant Idiots and then doing whatever you're doing, right? Like hosting and lifestyle and all this other things that I was doing. And it caused a lot of insecurity in me because I felt like I didn't even know what to call what I'm doing, right? Because I'm just so good at everything. Like, I don't know if I'm being overwhelming. I don't know if it's too much. Like, I'm just doing what's naturally working, and nobody's really telling me no. They're just saying, like, be good at one thing, right? I also say fuck that. It wasn't until I met Sean Diddy Combs, and he allowed me the platform to do all the things that I'm good at versus restricting me from doing the things that I'm good at. And that was a defining moment for me because the long story short of it is that there will always be a place for you to be exactly who you are meant to be.
And that's it, folks. We're getting the wrap it up sign. So give it up for LaRussell and Ivy and Tim.
Are we doing a performance next? Are we doing a performance next?
Yes.
We're about, for those of y'all who are in here, I'm about to do a performance after, but I'm gonna go take a quick little break and do my thing, and they're gonna start the stage. But I would love for y'all to be a part of this and come in close. I know we kind of spread. If you want to say spread, that's cool, but I really like it intimate, and y'all can ask questions during the set and just kind of really be immersed in it. So I would love for y'all to come forward when it is that time.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Nice.